Hello everyone, welcome back to the series of tutorials about regular expressions. So in the last tutorial we have seen how to how to write a pattern that can find any web address, pretty much any web address. So let's write a pattern that can find an email address. That should be simple because we already know a good amount of regular expressions, but in this tutorial we're going to learn how to extract certain parts of our matches. For example, in this string here, we have two email addresses. We're going to extract these two email addresses, and we want also to extract the domain name. So we want to extract this name here, road, and YouTube. These are the domain names. So let's start first writing a pattern for an email address. First, we should start with space, end with a space, and then inside we can have certain characters from A to Z. If we wanted uppercase letters, we could simply do this. But since we know that emails can only be lowercase letters, we're going to include only lowercase letters. So 0 to 9, we're going to include also a point. So we use two backslashes and a dash sign. And this can appear once or more times. So this first part here is the login name. Let's say the login name. Then we have the @ sign, and then the domain name. So let's describe the @ sign. Again, we have to use two backslashes because this is a special character. And now we can have a sequence of from A to Z or 0 to 9 that can appear one time or more. We are going to also to include the dash sign. And then we have dot, and again another sequence A to Z and 0 to 9. Okay, and these can appear one or more time. Let's say like this here. So we run our code, and then we find two values. First the hello@world.com and then me@youtube.com. So how can we extract the domain names like road and YouTube? So whenever you use a parenthesis, that defines a group. So this thing here is a group. So we are going to put the domain name inside a group. How do we know that the domain name starts? It starts after the @ sign. So let's include these here, the beginning of the group, and then it ends with a dot. So the dot appears here, then we end our group here. So we have defined a group. A group containing the domain name. So let's write system sysout, let's sysout control space, and then domain name found. Let's include plus m dot group. Okay, now let's see. Whenever you use 0, it means that we're going to include all the email address. So we could use here 0 for nothing to include all the email address, all the pattern that we have found. So if we put 1 here, we're going to get the group of number 1. The group of number 0 is all the pattern, and of number 1 is the domain name. Of number 2 is going to be this here. So let's put 1 here because we want the domain name. Let's run our code. Then we have found value hello@world.com and domain name found road. And here the domain name found YouTube. So we have learned how to extract a certain part of our pattern, in this case the domain name of the email address. So if we want just the login name, could just say here, include this thing here inside a group, and here. Okay, now this is going to be the group number 1. So say here the domain login, and now down here, let's say domain name, it's going to be the second group. Let's run the code. Okay, login name found hello, domain name found world, and login name found me, and domain name found YouTube. So maybe we want to print this string here, string s, but without the email addresses. Instead, we would include censored, because we just want to censor the email addresses. So how can we do it? Okay, so let's delete this line here, and then we're going to say that our string s is going to be m, that's our matcher, dot replace all, and we're going to include censored email address. So let's now print our string s. Let's see. So my email is censored email address or censored email address. Okay, now I'm going to introduce 2 new methods of the matcher class. Suppose we want to know in which index of the string s our pattern starts. So that should be the index in which our pattern starts. So let's count it: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So for the first email we should get 12. So let's write here system out.println. Okay, mail address starts at index at plus m dot start. So this method m dot start is going to give us the index of the string s where our pattern starts. And for the end, email address int at index plus m dot end. Very simple. Okay, so we have so 12 is our answer for the first email address, and 31 for the second. Yes, so that's it. Okay, we can use also the domain name. Domain name starts at index, domain name ends at index. So we're going to include our group, the number of our group. So since it's domain name, it should be the number 2, and here 2 also. So where does it start? So we know that here is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. The same result as we got here. So with this, we conclude our series of tutorials about regular expressions. I recommend you to take a look at the other sub-expressions of regular expressions. I'm going to put in the description of this video the link where you can find a table describing all the sub-expressions of regular expressions. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching and subscribe.